Hey all, in this video we're going to be taking a look at price discrimination. And if firms, if they could price discriminate, how is it going to impact our demand and marginal revenue curves? So let's get started.
Alright, so price discrimination. So here, we talked about price discrimination at the latter half of our Intro to Imperfect Competition video. But we discussed it in the sense that firms cannot price discriminate, and that's why our demand and marginal revenue curves are both downward sloping and different. Well, here in this video, we're going to really go over just sort of what exactly is price discrimination, and if firms can price discriminate, how does that change our graph here? So price discrimination is just the practice of buying and selling the same products to different buyers at different prices. So in other words, you're selling the same exact product, but at different prices to different consumers here. And so we have some examples of price discrimination, right? If you look at high school sports, right, seniors and students pay different prices compared to just regular adults, right? That is an example of price discrimination. At movie theaters, when children and adults pay different prices, that is an example of price discrimination here. So price discrimination does exist, but there aren't necessarily that many examples of it. And so price discrimination, what it wants to do is it wants to charge each consumer what they're willing to pay in an effort to increase profits. So we talked about in our last video that if a firm wants to sell more products, they have to lower the price for every single person that wants to buy their product at that specific price point. Well, if a firm could price discriminate, they would charge $10 to the person who would buy it at $10. They would charge $9 to the people that would buy it at $9, and they would charge $8 to the people who would buy it at $8, and so on and so on and so on. And so then they can maximize profits there. And so obviously, right, consumers with inelastic demand are charged more than those with elastic demand, right? So take a moment to think about why that's true. So the reason that's true is, remember, if your demand is inelastic, even if the price changes a whole lot or a whole little, the quantity demanded is not going to change a whole lot. And so because our quantity demanded is not going to change a whole lot, right, that's why if you have inelastic demand, right, producers are just going to charge you a whole lot more because you're going to buy that product anyway. And so price discrimination requires three following conditions, right? So you need to maintain all three. One, you have to have monopoly power. You have to be really the only firm in the market or control a vast amount of the market shares. The reason why you need monopoly power is because if you do not have monopoly power, firms are just going to go to your competitor and buy it at the cheaper cost. Number two, they have to segregate the market, whether they separate by old or young, right? VIP member or not VIP member, you have to segregate the market in some way, shape, or form. And lastly, consumers must not be able to resell the product, right? There can't be a black market, right? Because then people are just going to go to the black market if it's slightly cheaper there, right? So for price discrimination to work, you have to meet each one of these following three conditions here. And so here we saw this, right? At $11, no one wants to buy it, so this firm is just going to drop its price to $10, right? So at $10, one person wants to buy it, so our total revenue is $10, and so that makes our marginal revenue $10 as well. Well, what happens to marginal revenue, right, if firms are allowed to price discriminate? So let's say that the price drops to $9. Our quantity demand is 2, but our total revenue is $19 and not $18, which makes our marginal revenue $9 there. But how did that happen? Well, here, right, let's look at it this way. At $10, right, one person wanted to buy the good. Well, at $9, two people want to buy it. However, right, if this firm can price discriminate, they can still sell that first product to the person that's willing to pay $10 for it. And then for that second product, they're going to charge that second person $9 because that was the buyer's max for that second consumer. And so here at two products, right, their total revenue is $19. They're selling $19 worth of product. which makes our marginal revenue here, the difference between 10 and 19, to be $9 here. Well, here, right, let's say that a firm, right, wants to sell more products, right? So $8 and 3 units. Well, here, right, they're still going to charge $9 to the person that's willing to pay this product $9. They're still going to charge $10. And now, to get the third person in, they're going to charge that third person $8 there because this firm is allowed or can price discriminate here, right? So that makes our total revenue what? If you said $27, you are correct, right? So our $27 is our total revenue. And so our marginal revenue, remember, is the difference between 19 and 27, which gets us to $8 here. And then we could do this one more time, right? So let's say $7 to sell 4 units. Well, here, right, they're going to sell it at 10, sell it at 9, sell it at 8, and sell it at 7. So here, what is the total revenue here? Well, if you said $34, you're correct. Well, then if it's the total revenue is 34, what is our marginal revenue? Well, our marginal revenue then is going to be $7 there. And so here on the chart, you're going to see a much nicer looking graph here. And so if firms can price discriminate, so if they can price discriminate and charge different prices to different consumers, they can sell the same exact good at different prices. And so when a firm can price discriminate, our marginal revenue and price are now the same exact curve in this scenario. So when firms can price discriminate, marginal revenue and price are the same. As we can tell by our chart here, right? At $10, our marginal revenue is 10. At $8, our marginal revenue is 8. At $6, our marginal revenue is 6. At $5, our marginal revenue is $5. And that's all because, right, the firm can price discriminate. And so for non-price discriminating monopolies, oligopolies, and monopolistic competition, our marginal revenue is less than demand. And this is what our basic original graph is going to look like, right? We are always going to assume that monopolies, oligopolies, and monopolistic competitive firms cannot price discriminate. So this is going to be our basic graph. However, if the context of the question changes and the question states that the firm can price discriminate, this is what our graph is going to look like, right? Our demand and marginal revenue curves are one and the same, which is also going to equal our price. So marginal revenue equals the demand, which also equals the price for price discriminating monopolies. And so with price discrimination, it results in several prices, right? Because what the firm is going to charge is they're going to charge consumers up to their buyer's max, up to the point they're willing, or their max amount they're willing to pay for a particular good. And so because of that, right, price discrimination leads to more profit. You can sell the same good at a lot of different prices, which is going to increase your total revenue and increase your marginal revenue, which equals more profit. And because of that, there is no consumer surplus, right? Because the firm is just going to charge the buyer's max to every single individual consumer. And because of that, there's a higher socially optimal quantity. In other words, if firms can price discriminate, there is no deadweight loss. And so like I said earlier, right, price discrimination with the demand and marginal revenue and price being the same exact curve is going to be relatively rare. You're not going to see a lot of instances of it. What you're going to see more of is just a regular basic graph where demand and marginal revenue are two separate curves here. But this is more of a just in case you see it on the AP exam. All right, guys. So that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys learned a lot, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.